Here, you can exercise your rights to freedom every day without leaving your home. We don't just say, we do. It's the Stain City way.
Hello and welcome to Real Talk with Anele right here on SABC3. The stage is yours. Today you are going to witness and have an experience of all things fashion and the craft that is fashion design. Joining me right now is a living fashion legend whose brand has grown from strength to strength, making him a firm favorite amongst fashion elites here in South Africa and the world over. He has showcased his designs at all the premium Fashion Week platforms in South Africa as well as Paris, and to date is the only African designer to have showcased at Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week New York for 6 seasons in a row as a solo African brand. He's joining me to not only share with you about his brand new reality show, The Intern, but we'll also hear from the man himself and how 15 years on he has managed to stay on the top of his game, giving us timeless, elegant and luxurious designs. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome David Tlale to Real Talk. Hello, you.
Unjan.
I wore black because you were coming.
I love it. I love the fact that you adhered to the brief.
Do you know what I'm saying?
A silent brief.
All I'm missing is shade. Somebody bring me shade.
Can someone bring shade?
Somebody bring me my shades, okay? We're gonna do this thing here today. Do you have any other color in your wardrobe besides black? Like your pajamas, are they black?
I don't own pajamas. My underwear is white.
Okay.
And I do have some happy socks.
Oh, that's as far as color goes.
Yeah, and I think I've got some white clothes, which I was meant to wear and I was forced to wear at some event. I wore it for like an hour, then I went to change.
Because, I mean, I'd imagine you get invited a lot to these all-white parties. What
Yeah.
does David Tlale do when he gets invited to an all-white party?
I tell them, if you want me to come there, I'll be wearing black. And if you don't want me to in black, goodbye, I'm not coming.
So if you call your helper, right?
Yes.
Hello, Sisi, please can you get me that black top?
They know exactly.
No.
They know exactly
No.
which one it is. I was like, it's got this and that, this fabric. So I've had to like educate
Yes.
basics. So like, yeah. it's
So
very
they
simple.
know which fabrics they're looking for.
Yeah,
like
and I think also the good part with the people that I work with or live with, they kind of like, oh, this is new. Oh, I like it. When are you wearing it? You know, so it's like, yeah.
Okay.
So it's quite simple.
All right. And the people who are around you, are they allowed to wear color?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
But not in studio.
Oh.
At home, yes. In the production room, yes, they can wear color. But in the administrative part, everybody has to wear black.
At all times?
It's a DNA of the brand.
I see it. And like we said, you've kept it for 15 years.
It's important.
But I really want to go to the beginning,
Yeah.
where you go to a wedding and everyone is gushing over other things and you're just gushing over the beadwork of... This is how you fell in love with fashion, right?
It is. I mean, like, people are just like, "Oh, really? They see the decor and I'm like, no. Did you see that bead? It's falling.
You're like, sis has got problems.
No, it's fine.
Her
But
dress
it's
is
been
coming up.
really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's been 15 years has been like really phenomenal. It has not been easy, Anele. Because if it was, everybody would be doing it. And also having a brand that is growing and also thriving. And still, like 15 years later, I feel like as a brand, David Tlale, we've just begun. Because everything has finally starting to fall into place. We finally have a voice. We finally have, I would say, that signature that everybody recognizes. And I know this for sure because, you know, in 2003, I think 4 or 5, somewhere there, I was interning for Julian.
Yes.
You know, from the boys.
Julian, who used to dress bomb in South Africa.
Yes.
I remember, like, Benelli Daniels.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Julian and the boys. And I said to him, so how long does it take for you to actually start making money?
Yeah.
He goes, 20 years, darling. I was like, what? I don't have 20 years. He goes like, well.
I'm broke now.
Yes.
I need money now.
Now. He goes like, well, if you really want to be a brand that starts making money, 20 years at least, then we can start talking. 15 years into the business, I see it live. Having a brand that is trying to become a global brand made in South Africa by South Africans shows you flames. It's not cheap.
Why does it show you flames? What about it is difficult? Is it the conceptualizing? Is it the designing? Is it the getting the material? Is it the people buying it? Which part of the line is the most difficult?
The most difficult is to have a thriving clientele that grows every day and that is consistent and that understands the expensiveness of making a once-off dress. That is the most difficult because now we have all these global brands around us in South Africa and people are now starting not to buy custom made or even local. And that is the biggest challenge. Designing, it's a walk in the park. We do this every day. Choosing fabric, we can do it every day. But the question is, how do you get those customers flocking in your door every day?
But I mean, you, and maybe it's what Julian was saying, for the longest time, David Tlale, like I don't remember a world where David Tlale wasn't there. Do you know what I'm saying? Am I making sense to you?
Well, kinda, yes.
Yeah, I just feel like
since we knew each other.
Not even, no. You must remember, I knew you long before you knew me.
Well,
I was watching all of this because my aunts and, you know, this woman with money, they'd be like, it's a DT, it's a DT. And I was like, oh, come on, DT.
Exactly.
Like, it's a David Tlale. So do you like sit at night and when you think about yourself, do you think about yourself as David or David Tlale?
Oh, shut up, Anele. How do you do that? Well, I sit at night. Mostly I do that when I travel to kind of like reflect, and I reflect. There's a huge part of having to have lost me in translation and along the journey because when I'm sitting with you right now, people don't see David Tlale, the person, they see the brand that is always on TV, red carpet, whatever. And whether I'm in a club or in a restaurant, people don't see anything else, but they see the brand.
Because also I've seen you in a restaurant, like we're in a restaurant, you are in a restaurant, like you know what I'm saying? Like everything you do is like, it's fluid, it's liquid.
But
do you make your own bed?
When I feel like it.
Okay, can you fry your own egg?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you do things that we do, like cook for yourself.
I do. I'm very domesticated and I host very well. So I should host you one day.
Okay.
I do cook. I do actually make mint tea. Like my mom loves my tea. And when I go home, she still says, Opa, please make me my tea.
Have you ever spilled food on yourself whilst you were eating?
Yes, I have.
Really? What happens?
Nothing. It's just like, just get over this. Yeah. And I do basic things. I do go to the restroom as well, like you.
Really?
I do.
Flush everything?
Everything.
Listen, another question I was dying to ask you, because I know that in your first year of fashion, you didn't get like the top student, and you were quite bitter about it. And you were like, you'll never not win this award again. And then for second and third and fourth year, you won the award, right? Yeah. So in that realm of your fashion class, who else has made it like you?
Nobody.
No.
The other two students that we graduated with, well, they never showed up for graduation. I was the only one graduating in my class. The other one was, she became a housewife.
She must make wonderful aprons.
No, she does. I think she does. And because her husband was, just as they met, her husband acquired a farm. So she's a farm house. Her name is, I think it's Martina, something like that. And then the other one is Celeste. She was a loose head. And then she relocated to London and came back. And then the other one was Celeste. Celeste is now selling, the last time I heard of her, she was selling cars.
So you are the only one who's like carried on with this from your group of people?
From my class, yes. I'm the only person that is doing this for real.
And back then, were you David in class or were you David Tlale?
I've always been David. And then it translated, and then it became David Tlale. Like while I was still in university, because like everybody was like, no, it's not just David. I was like, because I started branding myself like David Tlale. And there was, because after I graduated, then I was lecturing fashion.
Yes.
Then I was like, are you going to call me Mr. David or are you going to call me Mr. Tlale? I was like, just call me David Tlale, and that's it. That's how it all started.
Listen, David is lying. He was David Tlale in preschool, in creche. He was making the other kids call him David Tlale.
Well, I was David Tlale in primary.
After the break, David will tell us about his collaborations with major brands as well as his brand celebrating 15 years this year. You at home can join in the conversation by sending through your 20-second voice note to our WhatsApp line. It's on the screen. And remember, you can't be like, I want to ask David. You have to say, I want to ask David Tlale. Don't go away. And welcome back to Real Talk. Today we have the fashion design guru, David Tlale. And without further ado, let's get back to him and your tweets that you're sending to us. First one says, right when I was about to go and play with other kids, Anele decided to sabotage me and bring the god of fashion in SA. From Amanda Mzulwini. At the Yes Pio says, I've been waiting for the day we have David on the show again. Fashion god himself. David is gold, guys. Please can you ask David why he always wears shades and why the black clothes always? From Tandy Martin.
Are you going to ask me the question?
Wow. David, why do you always wear shades? Sorry, David Tlale, why do you always wear shades and why do you always wear black? I get black as you say, it's elegance and it's the DNA of the brand.
And it's like school uniform. You know, when you go to school, you have to look the part.
Okay.
So it's basic.
Yeah.
Shades, why not?
If not, why not?
Gotta have the shades.
Can you take them off for like 20
Yes.
seconds? Just so people... Do you know what it is? Because people think you're ugly.
I do have eyes.
Yes, because you know shades make you look... If you're like a 6 out of 10 and you put
Yes,
shades on,
I do have
you
eyes.
become an 8 out of 10.
Yes.
So I just want to show them that he's a 10 out of 10 without the shades.
Oh, please.
Look at you.
Let's get back.
Back to business.
Yes.
Who is your dream client?
My dream client is Michelle Obama.
Oh, okay. Unpack that.
Because she is a woman of stature and she also influences buying power.
And here's the thing, which brings me to my next point about the state of fashion in South Africa and the celebs meeting fashion and what it does for you. What does it do for you if I wear your dress on the red carpet? Be honest.
Mostly absolutely nothing, because to start with, celebs don't buy the dresses. They just like will give you PR. I'm like, I'm already doing that. No, dress me, I will push your brand. How? You're not buying it. Chances are -0 that someone is going to come and say, I want that dress that so-and-so wore on the red carpet, because their mentality is already saying David Tlale is expensive.
Yes.
And true that. But when a celeb or anyone or anybody prominent goes to an international brand and puts down over 40 grand for a basic simple shift dress, they don't think about it. But now you come to David Tlale, you want to get a simple shift dress for free. Let's do the mathematics here. Why must I suffer while you are shining?
So what would it take for you to then dress a celeb? Because I know there's just some where you're like, you know what, I like you.
Yeah.
I want you, like I see this dress on you and I just want to make it. What would it take for that?
What it takes is always saying, if you buy my product, I will always support you. You can't give false PR to the people like, I'm wearing David Tlale. You don't even own a David Tlale piece in your wardrobe. And that is my biggest gripe. I don't have a problem with dressing celebrities, but my biggest gripe is that you don't own anything that says David Tlale. Everything that you have worn, it's something that has been on Apro.
Okay.
That is the biggest thing.
That's the biggest gripe.
And our journey is, you look at the likes of Lala, Simpiwe, it's like, okay, we like wearing David Tlale. They buy some pieces. I'm happy with that. You go to their wardrobes, you'll find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. And then, you know, you are on the red carpet, you're just echoing the journey. You look at the likes of Tatum Keshra. She's my muse. She buys, I give. She looks good, PR. And people definitely would want to be seen wearing a David Tlale piece.
Do you remember ever disappointing a client? What was that feeling like? And how do you make it up to this?
I do remember disappointing a bride. She was crying on me. Not on the day, but 3 days before the delivery. And then she cried. I was like, please trust me, I'll make sure that the dress is ready. And I did get the dress ready. And then another one, I was at the wedding, dressing the bride, the zip pops. just before she has to go down the aisle.
Safety pins?
I had to sew her in.
Okay.
And all the people around me, they're the ones that are causing the drama.
And the friends.
The bride was fine, but everybody around, the aunts, the friends, and everybody are the ones that are causing the drama. But ultimately, she walked down the aisle in a David Tlale dress. She looked amazing. Unfortunately, we had to cut it open after the matrimonial, and then she jumped into another dress. And how do I make it up is to say, well, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. I don't have a control over a zip.
Yeah.
A zip has shown everybody, every other international designer, flames. And then you have this cloud of like darkness from people that have seen this drama happening. They're like, oh yeah, it's a David Tlale zip. Like, yes, I bought the best zip. If the zip decides to pop today, what am I supposed to do? And
but I suppose the fact that you were at the wedding is
exactly.
telling. You know what I'm saying?
And to make sure that she looks good.
Yeah.
And it's very, very important. And I try to do that with all my clients, and especially if they pay for the service, because I have to come there to make sure that everything is perfect. It's all good.
So when you said the darkness, I want to kind of preempt something here. How careful are you of the brands that you affiliate yourself with, that they don't overshadow what you do? So I mean, now you're a brand ambassador of a cognac.
Yeah.
You're also the brand ambassador of Jockey, you know, the underwear.
Yeah.
How careful are you in terms of like, this is the line that we can't, you know, flow over here, otherwise then everything that is David Tlale gets muddled?
I think the brands that we actually collaborate with, it's mostly them approaching us. With the Siphosihle, it has been like really, for us, it's an international positioning, because we're working on our spring-summer first debut at Paris Fashion Week this spring-summer. And yes, we've done Paris before. It was a group of designers, but it's going to be now David Tlale in Paris. That's what we're working out towards.
And knowing you, your models are going to be flying off the Eiffel Tower.
So with Jockey, I actually approached Jockey to say, can you please manufacture David Tlale underwear? They're like, wait, hold on. Can we collaborate first? So that's why we came up with Jockey by David Tlale. But that was preempting our underwear range that we are also launching this spring-summer. So watch the space. There's a lot of things happening. And for us, collaborating with other brands is purely to say, let's actually tap into your clientele, and they also tap into my clientele. And also it's a journey, and I never sign up for a one-season type of thing.
It has to be
It has to be longer, to say at least 3-4 seasons, because you know why? First season, we make mistakes. I piss you off with a statement that I utter in public or whatever, and something, and you don't like it.
I don't attend enough of your functions.
Exactly.
Yeah, I hear you.
So first season's like teething process. Second season, okay, we know exactly what we like about each other. Third season, boom, we all fly, and it becomes great.
Okay, so if Michelle Obama's your dream client, where's your dream showcase place? Because I mean, you've done the Nelson Mandela Bridge. You know, you've done the back of your garden, which was beautiful.
Where you walked for me, thank you.
I'm a model, okay? I'm a model. I work for David Tlale. You can't tell me anything. I am a model. Kish model na. Ki modeler, okay? So where's your, like, because I know you dream big and you're very creative in terms of where you're going to set yourself up. Where in the world?
I would definitely want to do one of my shows in the longest bridge in China. I'd really want to do that.
That's quite a walk, though, for you.
It is a walk, but it can be done. For the fact that I can see it, it can be done. It's actually done. It must just manifest. I
guess anyone can walk. By the end, they'll be thin.
It doesn't matter.
We'll be models. Like, we'll start off on the side of the bridge fat. We'll walk over. By the time we get there, we're skinny. Listen, don't go away. After the break, David Tlale will share with us about his new reality show that's on SABC 3. It's amazing. It's called The Intern. You want to find out about it? Come back. Double whammy. Elimination. That was a snippet of the reality show, The Intern by David Tlale. And joining David Tlale now, we have Siphosihle Masango, who himself is designing his way to greatness and was a David Tlale intern. Welcome to the show, Sihle.
Thank you, Elena.
Do you know what I like about this? You did this long before you made it a show.
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So all you've done is just bring cameras into something that you've always been doing, and that's how he came from it. So explain it to us.
So the Intern started out in 2012.
Yes.
When it started in KZN, we had 4 designers. And working with an amazing production company, I mean, we then ultimately decided we are going to make the Intern to become a reality show. I mean, working with Grayscale was like, yes, please, let's do this. And Sihle is one of the designers that actually entered for the Intern.
Yeah.
They were trained for 18 months since 2015, right? 2016?
Yeah.
Somewhere there. 2016, 15. And him and Ndando and many others, they started out 12. By the time they got into the final presentation of their collections, there was 5 left. Because people think being an intern is an easy thing. I'm just like hanging with David Tlale.
I'm just gonna get his coffee and like go to fabulous places with him.
We got no time for that. We work. And it's very, very important that anyone who wants to come to the fashion industry understand that this is work. This is real business. And it's not for sissies, literally and figuratively.
Oh, Sihle, I understand that people, you know, always used to say, oh, you remind me of David. You know, you dress like David. Your work, Sandla Sako, is a lot like David. And you were always like, no, I want to do my own thing.
Oh, and it's so frustrating. And then he then goes and becomes your mentor. And then it's like, now, like recently, last week, he sent me to the plaza and I was like, they were like, yeah, I'm David's son. They're like, yeah, where's your dad? I'm like, who's my dad? And I'm like, how, guys? Literally even last week, we were in Santon together and I'm waiting for him. I've got rails, I've got steamers. I mean, I'm working.
You're working?
And then they're like, oh, David, sorry for keeping you waiting. I'm like, no, David is not here yet, guys.
Oh, please admit inside you're like,
He's like, yes!
inside it's like, yes!
No, not really, because I'm trying to be the best Siphosihle Masango out there.
Yeah.
So like, it's constantly like a thing that I had to be like, if you're going to be compared, rather be compared to the best, you know?
This is true.
This is true.
So, I mean, if he did his work at Julian and you doing your work with David Tlale, what do you understand now about fashion that you didn't prior to working with him?
The biggest thing he's taught me is know your client. You cannot please any and everyone, and you won't focus if you don't know who your client is. So that is the biggest thing that I've learned, is that like I stopped trying to please your everyone's of the world, and I know my design aesthetic, what I do, who my customer is, because once you figure that one out, everything falls into play. Like the kind of media you associate yourself with, the kind of people you associate with, the kind of branding you associate with, it all trickles into a filtration of focus, because you know who your customer is, you know where they're eating, you know where they're shopping, you know where they are holidaying, because you know them. And so that's the biggest thing I've learned.
Oh, you're a good teacher if that's...
I was a lecturer for 4.5 years.
Okay.
So this is like continuation.
Okay. Not only was you a lecturer, he did accounting. So he started with accounting and then he was like, ooh,
And I was a Sunday school teacher.
a Sunday school teacher as well.
Teaching is in the blood.
So what else? That's very true. What did you do prior to doing fashion? Did you just get straight into fashion?
You know, you graduate, and after you graduate, you're like thinking, I'm going to be a fabulous fashion designer. It's going to be amazing. It's all going to be so fantastic. And then
I'm going to make money.
I'm going to make money.
And I'm going to hang out at Fashion Week.
Oh my God. And then the real world humbles you. You end up becoming, you know? So you just at home in your own little studio and you're just sewing there, and you always constantly feel that this is not what I want to do. This is not, I mean, you have your little car, your little money there, you don't have a brand. You just basically Sihle Orokang Kohabo, and then ultimately you have to make the decision that I want to get into the business side of things. I want to get into building a brand. I want to get into what is a brand, what it takes to build a brand, what lines of communications and lines of input do I need to transition from Sipho Orokango Khabo to, okay, now I'm a designer. You know, I have a brand, I have a vision, aesthetic, you know, those kind of things. So, and it takes an internship or the long route. So I was on the process of taking the long route.
Long route is always the best. For you, having seen Sihle, you know, you've seen him from the very beginning, you walked into the door and you saw him, and now years later, what would you say his greatest improvement was?
I think having to mentor him to get out of the razzmatazz and getting to the razzmatazz is all the frills, the feathers, and everything else, for him to get to the core of what the product is about. He can tell you, first day he brought his collection, as they started internship, I was like, let's remove this frill, let's remove this lace, let's get to the corset. And let's get the darts rolling.
Okay.
Let's suppress the bust line, and let's get it fitting. And 18 months, or it's more than 18 months now, I would say almost 2 years later, I see Sihle focusing on the core of the product and understanding that fashion is not about everything around it, but it's on the basics. Let's get the pants, let's get the basic skirt right with the darts that are even, the hemline that is even, and then I see him appreciating that. And over the many collections that he's created and showcased at Fashion Week, I see a trail of him growing. Yes, in the mix, he tries to be me, but it's great, it's beautiful, and I love it, and I appreciate it, and I allow him to flourish in it, to a point that at the Mamas last year, I wore one of his garments, and which was like really amazing. It's like, I could wear this, and I walked in and
when your mentor
like,
where's your work? Right?
It's really great, and I see him growing and becoming really a very strong brand in the next in the near future, and I think he's on a right journey.
So in terms of the intern, because after all, television is television, right?
Yes.
And there needs to be you know, a fair share of entertainment, a fair share of drama, a fair share of scandal, a fair share of good news and emotions. Are we getting all of that from the intern?
I think you are, and I think people are just loving it every Wednesday, and to see that beyond some people think I'm a bit too dramatic, and then they call me like I'm a savage and stuff like that. But there's a lot of education that comes through to say, can we just release the riffraff and get to the core? And also what we want to really do with the intern by David Tlale is to say, we want to bring the dignity back into the industry, because everybody wakes up and tomorrow morning they are designers.
Or a stylist.
Or a stylist. I'm not going to talk about stylists because I don't work with them, most of them. We're going to talk about designers. Like, you wake up and just because you're able to put together colors, or you're able to have a tailor or something to put together your garments, you are now a designer. We want to bring back the integrity into the industry to say it's okay to go to school and be educated and be mentored. And also understand, I always say, if you don't understand what data manipulation is, it's very, very important to go back to basics. And understanding what is neckline suppression, it's very, very important to go back to the basics, which is school. And then you understand the history of fashion. I always tell my interns to say, if a client comes in and say, I want a Baroque-inspired dress, you can't say, what is Baroque? Let me go research. No, you don't have time for that. These clients are busy. They are always on the roll. They only have 15 minutes with you.
And also, if you didn't know it before I came in here, I don't think you can make it for me.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying. Listen, you guys are coming back. David and Sihle will be joining us again in the final segment, where we're going to have ourselves a lot of fun. Trust me, you want to stay tuned for that. After the break, we'll hear from another designer who's making great strides in this cutthroat industry, where you must know what a Baroque-inspired dress is. Mzala. We'll be right back. Right now, you're about to meet the man behind the brand Orapeleng Mudutle. Style Avenue OMSA dresses a woman who loves to express her own romantic femininity with taste and sensibility and refinement, while making the most of her own natural attributes. He has dressed some of South Africa's biggest celebs and has showcased his work at the Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week in Cape Town and the Siphosihle Fashion Week in Tanzania, amongst others. His name is Orapeleng Mudutle. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Anele, how are you?
I'm apparently the new Vera Wang.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that what they say?
This is what they're saying. And Vera Wang is known for her wedding dresses.
Yeah.
So are you that guy? Are you making us wedding dresses?
I think, yes, I am, but I'm slowly becoming Vera Wang, but I still have a long way to go. Not yet.
Did you, when you were coming into fashion though, did you think that, you know, wedding dresses, because I know, like, you know, when you were kids and we were designing dresses, you designed wedding dresses first. Like, was that you?
Not really, not at the beginning. At the beginning, I started with ready-to-wear, And I started going into stores because, you know, when you are like young, coming out of school, and you just want to do everything that someone gives you advice on. So I tried the whole ready-to-wear route, but it didn't work for me. And then a friend of mine who's also a designer said, maybe you should try bridal, friend. And I did, which then from there on I enjoyed it because I mean, the moment you touch a dress and then or a product or a garment for a client, and then there's so much joy and excitement, then exactly that's what you need to do.
And let's be fair, people are not going to stop getting married. So
Absolutely.
You're always going to have a clientele, right?
Well, yes, but I mean, with good quality and service, then you will have a clientele.
I want to go back. Growing up in Kimberley, was this always what you wanted to do, to be a fashion designer? As a kid, were you out there drawing, or were you trying other things like playing soccer or cricket or rugby, and then you're like, ish?
Growing up, my grandmother, I know it's a cliche story.
Yes.
My grandmother was a
seamstress.
But with hand, not with a machine or something. And my mother as well. So I used to join like the congregation and become part of it. And it slowly developed into sketches. But I really never thought that's what I wanted to do. I just thought I was like, you know, hanging out with family and doing something
time,
fun. Yes.
you know.
And then in my matric year, that's when I actually decided, when I went to a career exhibition, I was seeing, you know, David's really doing very well. I'm like, that's who I want to be. Yeah.
So when did the gang life, because I also know you were in a gang, or I look at you and I'm like, you were probably bringing them water. like when people are in a gang, you know, there's a getaway driver, there's the one who does the rough work. You like, I'll make our jacket.
Well, a funny story. I mean, I grew up in Kimberley, in Putanang, a very small community, where there was a lot of oppression, about like who you are and your sexuality and all of that.
Okay.
So I needed to be part of the stronger team, who was gonna make me feel better about myself,
kind of protect you.
Yeah, but which was just like a silly thing of growing up, you know. And then I grew out of it.
Yeah. You were just like...
I was lucky enough to grow out of it. Because some people don't.
Some people don't, but also, you know, like I say, I'm looking at you and I'm like, what were you doing? What were you doing in the gang? You know, people are out there dragging chains on the floor and you're like, the sound.
And it was very scary.
I can imagine though.
Very scary.
So how did you get out of it? What, did you just woke up one day and said, I'm out of here? Or did an opportunity come along, like you interning for Stone Cherry, where you're like, you know what, this is my ticket out of here, I'm grabbing it?
Well, I had to get out of that whole environment. You know, I felt like I needed to create a better future for myself and a comfort zone for my mother, you know. So I said, like, this is time for me to grow up and become a better person, and which I did. I took advice from people who gave it to me, and then I finished school and went to study fashion design.
How do you get to intern for Stone Cherry?
In my final year, actually, I approached her because you have to do like an internship with a designer. So I chose her, funny enough, and then I interned with her for like 6 weeks. That was the course of time. And then she said she must come back and become a pattern maker. I'm like, okay. That's what I did. I did it for the next 3 months. And then, because just the inspiration I took from her and how of a success she was, you know, when it comes to running her business, it kind of motivated me to also go start my own thing.
You know, when it comes to fashion design and fashion as a whole in the country, a lot of people want to get into it. It's one of those industries that everybody's like, you know, that's my dream. But then their dreams get squashed because the truth of the matter is not everyone who wants to be in it will make it. So when you and Sihle, who interned with David, and you're talking about, you know, I interned for this person, I just called them up. Are you lucky, or is it that easy to get an internship?
It's not that easy.
So you were lucky?
Well, I think she loved my work because you have to like send in a portfolio.
Okay.
And all the references that you've done in the past. And then you are called in for a short list. And yeah, I think she was quite impressed with me. And then, yeah, you come in. It's not everyone just gets an internship.
Okay.
For Sihle to be with David, there was something special there that David saw.
Okay, all right. Because I'd imagine that there's some people who don't get through. What happens to them? Let's say you don't get to intern. What happens to you then? What do you do?
I don't know. Well, I started out and then I had to apply for Fast Track because it's like a little program that AFI has.
Okay.
And I was rejected like 3 times. So I couldn't, and at first I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna do it anymore, you know? Up until this, I think 6th time I applied, that's when I actually went into like showcasing for AFI. But then someone gave me an advice back at the day, like first grow your clientele and know who she is and learn the quality and give them great service. Because then why do you showcase when you don't have your clients coming to your show?
Who's going to come watch you if we don't know who you are?
So it's just really like going back and reflect on what you could do better and then just try it again.
I think this is so important that people watching, you know, especially kids who want to get into fashion design, this is why I'm asking you for specifics, because every time people, you know, you ask them about their careers, they're like, I just never gave up and I worked hard. Yes, I get all of that. That's frilly. I want the detail, you know, what is it that you did? So, I mean, the fact that you sent in a portfolio. So outside of being a great pattern maker, being a great, you know, a sewer, if that's what it's called, and being a great designer, what quality do you think you have that is necessary to have if you want to make it in the fashion industry?
You need to, first of all, when you run a business, you need to have, not everyone can be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, true.
You need to kind of learn how to be an entrepreneur because you deal with a lot of clients, you know, different personalities, people who are, that you can't just decide to say, okay, no, you can also go, you know. You need to be very patient and you need to, yeah, you need to know the trick, you need to learn the tricks of the trade when it comes to what you're doing.
Yeah.
For me, I feel, before you even, design, yes, you know, everyone can be a designer, but you need, for running a business, you need to know the basics of a business, you know, and then it comes to your design, and then it comes to your quality. Did I answer?
Yes, you did. Right now, is this OMSA?
Yes, this is OMSA, but I don't sell menswear. I just make stuff for myself.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we ever going to sell menswear?
Yeah, we will see how it goes. But for now, our focus is women's
But what if somebody's watching and they're like, I want nothing more than what Orapeleng is wearing? What must happen?
Well, if the demand is there, then absolutely yes.
Okay.
But then for now, women's wear.
So it's just women's wear and obviously the wedding dresses, which looks like it's on the rise.
Yeah, because the thing is that now I'm still in the developing stage of my career.
You don't want to do it all.
Yeah, I don't want to. I want to see what works and then move on to the next department because I kind of want to do everything all at once. And then I fall down and it doesn't work out.
Okay,
and then I'm like, fashion doesn't work. It will never make money. Because I was
Meanwhile,
not patient
you're the
enough,
one
yes.
who didn't do it right. Okay, so speaking of menswear, after the break, David's going to come back as well as Sihle, and we're going to go through a few menswear, you know, fashion pictures that they're going to go through. Please keep the tweets and the voice notes coming so that our fashion experts can respond. We'll be right back after this. And welcome to the final segment of the show where we're talking all things fashion. In studio, David Tlale, Siphosihle Masango, as well as Orapeleng Mudutle. There's a WhatsApp voice note that just came in, and I'm so jealous of this question. I feel like I should have asked it, but alas, I was sleeping and somebody else was awake.
Good evening, Anele and everyone in studio. My name is Linduguhle Nofemele, and my question for the designers today is, what I'd like to know is what is the emotional process when designing a garment or bridal for a client? Thank you.
Dave, like, you know, it makes sense, the question, right?
It does. Depends. We all vary.
Yeah.
If we want to be emotionally attached or not. Because it's a journey. And also, I think also understanding where the bride comes from, the background, upbringing and everything else. So it's a long journey.
So there's a big attachment thing.
There's a huge, because I mean, a huge attachment because from day one she comes to you, she gets married 6 months later, or even 12 months later. You get to see her, you get to understand her, understand the madness, and then sometimes she becomes a bridezilla, sometimes she becomes a friend. I've had a lot of brides that ultimately became friends because you get to know them, you have tea with them.
Sihle?
Oh, emotional, okay, brides. Oh,
It doesn't have to be a bride, anyone. Like, if I had to come to you, you know, would you emotionally lock into me?
I don't really think you emotionally lock into your work because what we do is very emotional. It's personal. Hence, it's not easy for anyone to break into the business side of the fashion industry because what we do is so personal to us. Hence, it's also very hard to have a mentor also because we butt head because what we do is very emotional to me. It's my artistic direction and creation. So when you come to someone, you're always hoping that when someone comes to you, you're always hoping that they love what you do and your aesthetic and they've seen something in you that they would love to tap into.
Okay.
When they don't, I often don't really like to have a clash with the client or try to convince them otherwise. I feel like if you're moving in such a direction, one thing he's also once said to me was, no one carries the essence of what you do. What Orapeleng does, what I do, what he does, no one carries the essence of it. Absolutely. You can try and copy it, you can try and do whatever, but at the end, a garment when it's done and it's finished, if it's a David Tlale, it will remain a David Tlale. The essence of him is in that work, the essence of me is. So when I see that what you want is something Orapeleng can give you 10 times fold.
You say, go to Orapeleng.
The pie is so big, I will be like, Orapeleng does this best, babes.
Orapeleng, quickly for me, answer the question. Do you emotionally attach yourself to the work?
I do sometimes, especially when it comes to brides, because I mean they brief you and you kind of get their personality and where they come from.
And it's their fairy tale.
Yeah, it is a fairy tale. So you need to.
Don't come here.
You need to.
I don't want to be Cinderella after 12.
So you need to really understand the bride, and not everyone is very dramatic. You know, you need to kind of immediately once you know the bride, you know what kind of product you're working on.
Okay. So listen. I was going to ask you what are big fashion no-nos, and I realized I can just show you on the screen, right? So watch the screen. We're going to go through these things because things come back in fashion, and I want to know, like, should these things come back or not? Let's start with the 1920s men knee-high pants. Let's go for it. Should men be wearing? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes!
You can pull it off if you have the body for it. Not everybody can wear these pants. If you're a trendsetter or a trailblazer,
like Ricky Rick.
He can.
Okay.
Any day.
Okay, because he's like a style icon for me right now.
Absolutely.
He could wear any. They one of the spot plant. You could just take it and I'll be like, Ricky,
yes,
you've got it. Okay. What about high waist pants for men?
If you, what David also said, if you have the body for it, and the personality, you can
Can it
definitely.
pleat?
Yes, you can definitely.
Absolutely.
With a good biker jacket, I think you're good to go.
I mean, there are those people who can carry this. I would never carry those pants.
Because really, can you go to the office? Like, let's say you work at Alexander Forbes and you're rocking up dressed like that.
No,
it's
obviously
okay.
they will be calling you into discipline. Like,
James, come
to the office.
We need to talk.
Yes.
Okay, jumpsuits for men. What are we thinking about that? I think I'm skipping it. No, what's that? Jumpsuits, yeah, there we go, jumpsuits for men.
I think they have evolved because we do a lot of menswear right now. So they're more stylish as a onesie with pockets, with a waistband and everything. We can't go back to the 60s and 70s.
Okay, so not like that. But
not like
we
that.
Can definitely.
Revamped, yes.
Okay. Floral shirts, those are already back.
Oh, they're hot right now.
They are. In fact, floral, everything.
Everything.
Is hot right. Look, as we say that, look at us looking all dark.
But remember, we make florals for people. We don't have to wear them.
Thank you so much.
You sound like Michael Kors. He said that. He was like, I hate it when designers dress like they're the product. You're not the product.
Yeah.
Make them look pretty and go home.
That's it.
Hence, he just bought Jimmy Choo.
Hello.
Let's go with the 1980s punk look.
Punk look, I think it's very high fashion right now because it's street fashion, and especially for the younger generations that want to look hot and hip, and then trying to. Is that my face there?
Oh my God.
Yes, you put your faces on all the clothes.
Okay, I would never wear any of that. You know, especially for the young people today because they recycle clothes, and yeah, it works.
Okay, finally, if it's cause, yes,
Yes.
The one Mangeningam I used to wear. In that, Manganingam used to wear viscose everywhere.
It creases like hell. You can never.
Really? So you don't want viscose back?
No, viscose no. A revamped viscose today. Technology has like really helped us a lot.
There we go, now viscose.
No, you can't wear viscose today. You imagine me. Oh my word, I look horrible. I look sick. I look like I'm trying. Oh my word! Who did that? Who did that?
We did it, but we just wanted to personalize the entire thing. Sorry. Sihle, Viscose?
Versace is doing it. Versace is doing it in a fresher way. Like he said, like technology has really helped.
Yeah.
So when you revamp it and you bring it back fresher, younger, you know, there are ways of doing it. I mean, most of the rappers are doing it. Casper's doing it.
It's Casper.
Casper, you know. So it
What are
depends
you
on
saying?
No, guys, no. Love Casper to bits.
Absolutely.
Me, crush him, but you know, Casper will wear anything and be like, this is it. I almost saw on TV.
I know.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. Did you check that? I almost said
Yes,
something.
like-
I almost said a rapper thing. Okay.
Yes.
Guys, thank you so much for your time. You've been
Thank you
wonderful.
for
That's
having
all
us.
we've got time for today. Thank you so much, David Tlale, Orapeleng Mudutle. You, that word I knew sooner or later today. As well as Siphosihle Masango. They all came through today. Don't forget to catch another exciting episode of The Man Cave tonight. Men who really know how to dress. It's at 9 p.m. SABC 3 because they're switching up the action a notch. It's season 6. This is what you can expect.
The Man Cave is inviting you to be part of our studio audience. Check out our social media pages and hashtag ManCaveSA for more details on how to apply. And you could be selected to join the Man Cave team in our new studio from the 21st of August. Studio recordings are weekly, so keep tagging us to secure your place in the audience. The 6th season of the Man Cave premieres on the 22nd of August at 9 p.m. on SABC 3. The stage is yours.
All right, and then tomorrow night, Wednesday, 7:30, The Intern with David Tlale. You cannot miss that. Trust me, it's riveting viewing from us and the team. We'll see you tomorrow, 5 p.m.
That's cheeky.